one advantage of a brutal schedule, you get to play again. And I didn't think we did the first 5 minutes. To think that we held them to 34-11, and God, it seemed like they had nothing but dunks there at the beginning. But I thought we did a lot of good things, and yet not to be fooled when you get out-rebounded like we did and they get 18 offensive boards. You usually don't win games, but when you don't turn it over, you shoot the ball pretty good against a great defensive team, and you have 19 assists on 36 baskets against a great defensive team. That's hard to do. So I was pleased, after Jaden started out shaky, Pierre started out shaky, Marty started out shaky. I thought those guys, some of them bounced back. Jaden played a lot better in the second half. The foul trouble with Tyson, we weathered that storm. I thought Tyson's couple of steals when the game was 14-5 or something were big motivators for us. And then, of course, Jackson Kohler played really well. Carson Cooper, we had those three freshmen. We had Trey, Jackson, and Carson in there at one time. And that was a little scary for me, but it worked out. So all in all, I think they're one of my favorite teams because they're tough and they rebound, and they got some good players. I tell you what, it's McConnell is tougher than nails. The guy that didn't play well for them was Spencer, and he's been really, really good. And I thought he had some good looks. He just missed them. But again, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Our crowd, and I think the things we're doing marketing-wise and all the things we're doing with public address announcers, and when the horn was going, they kept the place lively. The crowd was phenomenal. It's helping us win games, I promise you that. So anybody listening out there that's driving home or wherever you are, thank you, and thank our people for the job they're doing. And we're trying to bring some excitement. We ran better tonight, but we just didn't rebound. And that was almost the death of us. So questions.
What did you like most about Kohler's night?
He scored 11 points and got 12 points and got 11 rebounds. I keep it simple. He did rebound the ball well, though. I told you he's my Zach Randolph. He can't jump over. I told Zebo that when he went and saw him play out in California. He can't jump over this cute purple phone, but he finds a way to get rebounds and get his hands on things. And he missed a layup, or he would even have been better. But and he is good on the block if you can get him the ball. And I think we did a better job of getting him the ball. He did a better job of posting deeper, and that made a big difference in the game.
The three-point arc, both defending it and scoring from it. It seemed like some of your guys finally started to get in a little bit of rhythm, including Jaden. That was probably a big sign.
I'd agree with that. Jaden needed to get going. He struggled early, and he did. And we had some great passes. Joey made a couple great ones. They made a couple to Joey. That last one Tyson made to Walker was big time too. I thought we had some shots we missed, but I thought they had some shots they missed. So our defense was good, but it wasn't elite. They had some shots, and but I did think we defended the three pretty well, and we definitely moved the ball. We knew they were a team that really collapsed a lot, and we said if we can get in the paint, we can kick out. We're going to get some open looks, and we did.
Tom, you didn't get to the line that often, but why is this team better now at shooting free throws and limiting turnovers?
Truthfully?
Now you can lie to me.
No. All right. Well, I'll lie to you and tell you that I hugged and kissed AJ every time he missed a free throw and turned the ball over. Or I threatened his life every time he turned the ball over and missed a free throw. And, I mean, a lot of it's him. You know, he's done a better job. I mean, it's simple. He worked on it. He spent time. Made it a priority. Made it a, you know, Monty got so sick of me yelling at him, so he went down there with him. And, you know, that's the greatest part about coaching. There's not a lot of great parts. That's one, is when guys do their job. I didn't make a free throw, and I didn't, you know, get a chance not to turn the ball over. He's doing a better job of both. And he wore down a little bit tonight, though. You know, guys went around him a couple times, and that was odd. But I think as a team, night before every game, we meet here and we shoot hundreds of free throws. As a team, we chart them before our team meeting. We started doing that a year ago, and I think, you know, just spending more time, but we are shooting better. And now, if we could just get there, and we're not getting there very good, I'm gonna have to really take a look at that. But really pleased with the 19 assists against a team that is so good defensively.
Tom, you've obviously with the injury, and you've mentioned guys, their playing time, the minutes, and tonight the fouls maybe help dictate that a little bit. When you look at the minutes there, is this a little bit closer in terms of some of these guys not playing 37, 38 as well?
Well, Monty and I and Doug, we got together today, and we did what DJ and I used to. We NBA'd it. We had some definitive times, at least in that first half, and then we were going to stick with it the whole half, and then Tyson got in foul trouble, and that kind of hurt that a little bit. A couple of those guys weren't playing very good, and hurt that a little bit, but we tried to stick to a little pattern. We tried to get him out 2 minutes before a TV timeout. We tried to just do a better job as a coaching staff. You know, it's not all their fault. Some of it's our fault. And so we did a better job as a coaching staff. And I think keeping everybody around 30, now Joey a little higher, because sometimes we're still stuck there. But hoping to play Pierre there a little bit, but I didn't go as well, so we played him at the 3. But we're getting there. It just, we said it was going to be a rock fight. It was a rock fight against Purdue. It was a rock fight. That means very physical, very, you know, tough games, grinding games. We're getting a little better at it, but I'm glad we won and got our butts kicked, because now practices, maybe we'll put a little more emphasis on putting a body on a guy instead of just putting an arm on him, because we got thrown around tonight, if you ask me, and I loved the way they played. McConnell and I mean, Omar Rui is a beast, but Mulcahy, he too. Those two guys were just tougher than nails around the ball, batting the ball loose. I mean, McConnell gets 4 offensive rebounds. The Meg kid, too, did a heck of a job. I mean, they just have some athletes that are built. I bet you Mel would like to have about 5 of those guys. They're well-built, athletic. And, you know, they've got, I think, 2 fifth-year seniors, a senior, and 2 juniors that are starting. But maybe the big key for us was when I had the 3 freshmen in there. They actually played pretty well together and got our guys a rest, and we lived with it.
Tom, you were talking the other day about guys needing to kind of stay ready for when their opportunity comes. Jackson had a couple games there where he didn't get in much. How did you see him kind of get through that stretch and be ready tonight?
I give, Doug a lot of credit. Wojcik, he spent a lot of time with him. Matt McQuaid did, I did, but Doug really spent some time with him one day for a couple hours. Just, coaching isn't about the X's and O's anymore. It's about, just dealing with all the outside pressures and the things that go on. And I thought he did a good job, and I thought Jackson did a real good job of bouncing back, because, he had played his least amount in the 2 games before this, I think. So I give him credit, give him credit, give my staff credit. They did a good job, too.
Tom, I want to ask you about AJ. Kind of, you referenced him earlier. Illinois was his first 3-turnover game in almost 2 months. Tonight, 4 turnovers, first time in over 2 months. Are you still happy with the way he's running the offense? And if not, how do you kind of get him back to that 2 turnovers or less per game where he was for, 2 months of the season right there? Well,
I think there's 2 reasons. I think one, he got a little you know, he reverts back, you know. I mean, everything's not going to change overnight, and he went a long stretch, but I think we talked about it at halftime. We talked about it in a huddle, and we talked about it after the game walking off, and I think the other thing is, you know, we're beating him up. I mean, he's wearing down. I mean, a lot of games and a lot of days, and he's playing a lot of minutes, and he's got to guard sometimes the best player, and so it's not all AJ's fault on that, but you're right. If we get him back down to 2 or less, that'll be the goal, and we'll try to look at those turnovers and see what they were, and you know, why they were like they were. I don't even remember them all, but he's improved a lot, you know. You know me, though, I'm not happy because not improved enough for me, because I think he's got a higher ceiling to get to, and we'll get there. We'll get there.
Tom, I'm just curious about, we know that Pierre's been pressed into action a little bit more with Malik being out. And you had a Stern talking to him in the first half there at one point. And just wondering, does that frustration come from a place where you're seeing things in practice that aren't translating to the game yet, or is it just a growth thing? Or?
No, I think, you know, I mean, I think Pierre's got a chance to be a heck of a player. Pierre's got to do the things that it takes to be a heck of a player. I'm not seeing those things in practice, so I didn't see him in a game. But what I was most upset with, I don't care if he misses a shot, but when we're guarding people and the shot goes up and we're standing there looking at the ball and we didn't cut him out and it bounces right back, that's the way it's going to be here. You know what? You're going to be held accountable on that. Missing a shot, no problem. But effort-related things, major problem. I need Pierre to be better. We need Pierre to be good. We got to get him more minutes. We'll constantly have meetings and work on it. I've given up on Pierre. I really think he's got a lot to give, but there's lessons that need to be learned, and you know, AJ learned some of them. You know, remember his freshman year, his sophomore year, he didn't take care of himself the best he could and got better, but then he got a lot better. So I just I like Pierre. I don't like some of the things he does, and hell, I had All-Americans. I didn't like Jaren Jackson fouling all the time. I didn't like Miles Bridges doing this. I didn't like Mateen Cleaves doing that. It's just part of it. It's just nowadays everybody's so, you know, like you said, I saw a confrontation on the bench. Man, you should have been here when Draymond was here. Gee whiz. There was a confrontation in the shower, for God's sake. So, it's just the way it is.
Tom, can you take me through what you thought of Jaden Aiken's night tonight? And there were times, I mean, I think he had 5 assists, 4 steals, but he also had a moment where you took him out pretty quick, and I'm wondering what you were talking to him about there.
Jaden Aikens is really, you know, I think he's got you know, this summer he was one of my best players, or maybe the best. He really was playing well. And we understand that the 13 weeks off had something to do with it, but now he's been back for a month and a little more, and you know, sometimes he goes at a warp speed. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's not good. And but he too didn't cut out and didn't do the things that, you know, the shots. I mean, you might think so, and some of you or some people, or you know, it's always, well, he's holding them back, can't shoot. I don't care if he misses a shot. I care when they don't guard somebody, they don't get a rebound, they don't sprint back on defense. He had some plays that were that way, and to his credit, he took ownership of it. You know, that's what some other guys got to learn to do. Take ownership of it and vow that it's not going to happen. And I thought after that, I thought he played awfully well, you know, and you know, played really hard defensively, didn't let people post him up. I mean, his defense has improved a lot. Remember 3 weeks ago I said he's not even close to back? He's improved a lot in that area. He's going to be a hell of a player. I mean, it's a shame that the injury took away all of his learning time in the preseason, but love Jaden.
Now that he's a month back, do your expectations sort of rise for him?
Hell yeah. That's what I told him. I said, you're a starter. That means you're going to be held accountable too. You don't get to make all those mistakes you get to make as a sub. He was great about it. I mean, he understood it, and he's going to get better too. I mean, we're going to get better. I mean, we're not where we are going to be. It's been hard on everybody, the things we've had to adjust to, and every time we feel like we get a guy back, we got Jaden back, and he was out for 2 more weeks, 2 weeks later. Then we got Malik back, and he was out for, that's sometimes harder than not having him, because then you start readjusting and putting in some new things. Now we said, well, we're going to have to play 2 bigs together. So change the offense, change some of the defensive coverages, and try to do it all in 2 days. And that's what we've been doing. And so, I mean, the heroes for me right now, my staff did a hell of a job this past 6 games. I mean, those guys, they don't look good. Usually I don't look good. Go ahead, say it. You still don't. But, yeah, I don't blame you. But anyway, they have worked diligently, both with the players and with the prep for these, and then trying to figure out what would work and moving different lineups. So the best coaches, in fact, one of those guys is getting the next pregame speech, because the last 2 haven't started out so good, so I'm out. I'm putting one of those guys in there.
We have time for 2 more, starting with Deshaun and back.
Congratulations on the win, Coach.
Thanks.
Please forgive me for the 2-part question. The first part is what is the next step for this team? Are they kind of somewhere right around where you thought that they would be this time of the year for coming into the season?
The first part of your question is a good one, because I'd have to answer you, I think we're ahead of where I thought we'd be when the season started, because we were without the 2 guys and everything that happened, and I didn't know where we were in the first place, So I think we're ahead, because Hauser's played better, Walker's played better, AJ's played a lot better, and yet, I think we've been kind of a mixed bag of nuts. We're not really smooth. We're not real. We don't look real polished, and why would you when you got situations where you're moving different people in and playing different people? The exciting part is one of these days we're going to get everybody back, and we're competing now. I mean, we got our butts kicked tonight on the boards, but some of that is they just had bigger, better athletes than we had, and we got to do a better job of cutting out in that. And our wings got kicked tonight a little bit, and uncharacteristic. Marty did, but I'll roll with Marty. I love Marty, so I ain't worried about him.
So Walker and Akins both had 4 steals. Hogard had a steal. What have you liked from that trio of guards defensively this year?
Well, I said at the beginning of the year, those 3 guys would be the best defensive tandem we've had in a while here. It would go back to Shannon Brown and Mo Egger, and those guys, or go back to Cleaves and Peterson and Bell. I mean, I've had some tandem guards that have been really, really good defensively, but I think these 3 guys could be the best, because AJ can cover anybody. And Tyson, I mean, he's small, but he gets his hands on so many things. It's amazing. And I thought Jaden would be our best defender. Lost a little weight during that time too. I mean, Jaden's going to get better here. He's getting better. So I think it would be one of our better running teams also with those 3 guards. We were better tonight. We were awful against Purdue, and we were, better against Illinois. We're not, consistency is maybe what we're lacking most, to be honest with you.
Hey, Tom, having to play the 2 bigs at the same time, probably not ideal for what you mapped out during the summer, but you had to put it out there today. How did it look? One time it was out there against the zone, but it looked like you survived it. Tell me about those 2 days of putting that in.
Yeah, I almost killed Monty. I said, what are you doing, man? They're gone zone. And give Monty credit. I mean, he's been working about, trying to come up with some things if we have certain 2 bigs, certain 3 guards. I mean, we moved some things around, and so I thought, they did a pretty good job. We kept it simple. We've got a couple basic sets we're going to run when we have that, and if we have to do that for a little while longer, we have to. But it wasn't bad, and Carson had a career night, and, he's the one that's the least athletic and jumps the least, and he got the most rebounds and did the most damage in there, so it just goes to show, but that was, I don't know what it looked like. Some of you were right under the basket the second half. That was as physical of a game. I saw bodies flying everywhere, and unfortunately, my guys' bodies were flying more than they were being the administrator of somebody else flying, But it was a big win for us. That is a very good team. You got to remember now, they had that loss on the out-of-bounds step at Ohio State, or they would have come in year 7-1 or 6-1, whatever. They have played very well. The only team to beat Purdue. He is a phenomenal coach, and I like their players. They didn't shoot it as well tonight, but God dang, they're tough. So thanks. See you in Indiana.